Hello everybody and welcome back to Apple Gaming SE. This is Apple News and Opinions for November 19th through the 25th of 2023. As always, we start out with new subs. I have 3 new subs this week for a total of 47 subs. Thank you everybody. Unfortunately, YouTube nor Stream Elements is telling me who subbed. I'm starting to think that this is a result of privacy settings on the YouTube side of things. Individual users don't want to necessarily have notifications sent about who they have subscribed to. So, whoever you are, I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you enjoy the content. Feel free to like and any videos, leave comments, whatever floats your boat. I appreciate you. To continue for this week, we are going to start out with some gaming news because this is a gaming channel. The Witcher 1 and 2 are getting native Apple Silicon Mac ports. Andrew Tsai has a video on it. I will link his video below so you can take a look at that. And also my friend somemacstuff has a great almost 5-hour introductory playthrough on an M2 Mac Mini. I'm going to link that as well that you should check out. So it's just good news. Always excited to see more stuff coming to Apple Silicon these are old games and they're getting native ports. So Apple is working with major developers like CD Projekt Red to bring these things to the Mac. And I think it's also true on the Steam storefront. So it's not just on the App Store. So you don't have to be siloed into getting it from one specific place. So that's great news. Our first business news article this week is tangentially related to Apple. It's related to Apple, but it's not directly about Apple per se. The headline article is X lawsuit in response to Apple suspending ads unlikely to succeed. This is from TechCrunch. Also 9to5Mac reported on it. I don't think there's much to say here other than Apple likely wanted to take time to investigate what was happening. So essentially what has happened is, or allegedly, the essentials of what's happened is that Apple had ads appear next to some anti-Semitic ads that were on X. Elon Musk made some comments that were not flattering, shall we say, and it's kind of spiraled into this bigger issue. I think Apple wanted to keep it kind of under wraps. They had initially paused their investments of advertising on X. They didn't cancel it. They did not withdraw from the partnership. They simply paused their ad investments on X because of, I think specifically because of a Media Matters article. So Media Matters is the one who kind of saw this happening and then tried to go and duplicate it happening with a new Twitter account where they kind of hacked the algorithm so that they only followed tech news and anti-Semitic posts or personalities, I guess. So they kind of created this perfect storm. According to X, there was only 2 people who saw ads where Apple and anti-Semitic ads were next to each other. And I'm saying that with a straight face as a result of just trying to be a reporter on this. I am not by any stretch at all, encouraging anyone to have anti-Semitic anything in their life. So anyway, I don't want to give any the wrong impression. Free speech. If that's your views, that's your views. Doesn't mean I agree with you. That said, the ads are out there. Not making a judgment call on whether it's good or bad. Just that they were there. Apple wasn't happy with their placement of the ads. So I just think they decided to say, we're just gonna take a step back and we're gonna investigate this a little bit further. They weren't necessarily saying that X was a bad advertising partner. So that's just my opinion on it. Our next article, we're going to continue on a little bit from last week and talking about encryption and specifically Sunbird's iMessage-on-Android service. This is coming from Macworld. So in short, Sunbird, the service behind Nothing Chats, is shutting off its services until it's done investigating security concerns, and that Sunbird will update its users when they're ready to proceed. It seems like this time they're actually going to go out and get a third-party audit of their systems. At least that's what Macworld advises that Sunbird does. They think it would be a smart move. which I agree with entirely. I also hope that this means we'll get that audit publicly released if it happens. I'd like to see more people and organizations explaining that you are saving your Apple ID login info with some random computer in a third-party server farm. So not only could this be on Apple hardware in a server farm, but it could be a virtualized OS on a different platform. So just keep that in mind as well. We don't actually know what Sunbird's got in their server farms or who they're partnering with. You know, there's Azure and Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Platform. Oracle has got their own business cloud programs. So there's a lot of different options out there. So let's not necessarily assume it's going on Mac hardware. I think Sunbird says it does, so maybe we take them at face value, but I'm not convinced is all I'm saying, especially if their user base explodes. So, that said, I also wanted to add that I like Macworld's kind of subtle dig at Sunbird too. They had this nice quote, "The fact that the service never became broadly available since it was announced last December is somewhat problematic," end quote. So I kind of like that dig. But I do hate the term problematic. So instead, I'll editorialize this a little bit by saying it is awful suspicious that Sunbird's service wasn't made available more broadly since last December. Now, it has been, if it had been more broadly available, then they'd likely have been found out about this sooner, the security flaw. So now, however, with nothing providing them some financial liquidity, maybe they can afford to get properly audited and kind of weather the PR storm a little bit. That's speculation on my part. Just throwing that out there. Again, that's an opinion, broad speculation, rampant speculation. Not fact. I have no inside. Just, again, guy on the internet sharing an opinion. Macworld correctly, in my opinion, also speculates that Sunbird's time in the sun is short-lived with RCS only a year away. RCS will bring most of those features of iMessage to cross-compatibility with iMessage and Android or iPhone and Android devices. So we might not really be too worried about Sunbird for much longer, and maybe they won't be either. Continuing on with security news, the Apple head of security has spoken out against iPhone app sideloading in a new interview. Again, this is from 9to5Mac, and I'm very torn about sideloading. I think it should be something available for the customer. After all, you are paying for a device, and it is your device as a result of that purchase. So you're not trading your information. You're not renting the device. You do not have a user-maintainer partnership for that device. You know, it's not like an enterprise environment, right? They give you a computer, but that computer is owned by the enterprise and managed by the enterprise. So long as you're an employee of that company, it's not like that. You're paying your money to buy a product from Apple. Ergo, it is therefore your product, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I think the overwhelming majority of people, including many IT professionals like me, don't really want to fuss with worrying about the security of apps or web browsers. You know, on some level, I do like the idea of knowing that I've paid for a product and Apple simply isn't going, okay, it's your problem now until you buy the newest one. At which point this hypothetical cycle would just repeat. I think the middle ground could be that Apple treats iOS like macOS, right? They have developers register with Apple to receive a recognized developer code signing key or just a developer identification key. This way, it doesn't tell Apple what specific app you're using because you as the user... So let me rephrase that. Apple won't know what specific app you're using, but you as the user know that it's a developer that Apple does have a relationship with, and it still allows you as the end user and owner of the iPhone to install apps outside of the App Store. There's an article from 2020 that I'm going to link that explains the process in detail if you want the particulars. Ultimately, this way, you as a device owner decide what is and isn't installed on your device and where you get it from, while you can also have some peace of mind knowing that the app's developer has some kind of relationship with Apple. Of course, this assumes the developer has no malicious intent, and it puts all of the responsibility on Apple to maintain these relationships, or it puts the responsibility on Apple and the developer to maintain the relationships. So just as an aside, it is my opinion that this is one of the reasons Apple products are more expensive than most others. They go to greater lengths to protect their customers, and that effort doesn't come free. So keep that in mind. Again, just my opinion. Last bit of news this week is good news for Apple. iPhone 15 is hugely popular in South Korea, while Japanese buyers seek out used iPhone 13 minis. Again, coming from 9to5Mac. What struck me about this article is that it seems that the feature that is causing this sudden 41+% market surge in South Korea is native call recording. Like, one of the carriers, SK Telecom, included this with new iPhone sales, and their iPhone sales took off. And it seems that call recording is a wildly popular feature in South Korea. I don't have the cultural context to understand why that's so important, and I am open to speculation and opinions in the comments below to try to explain it to me. But good news for Apple, huge growth for new iPhone sales in the South Korea market. The Japanese, being the Japanese, they like small and cute, so they are trying to get their hands on iPhone 12 minis and iPhone 13 minis. If I had known that, I would have tried to have sold my iPhone 12 mini to somebody in Japan. Maybe I could have made a little extra money on it. But it is what it is. So that's the news and opinions for this week. Kind of a slow week. I tried to keep it entertaining. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you next week in the news. Please leave your comments and questions below. Like and subscribe. Always appreciated. Still a small YouTuber, under 50 subs. Need all the help I can get. Every sub matters, and I appreciate you a ton. Thank you and have a great week. Bye-bye now.